Greetings. Thank you for watching here on YouTube live at Bloom from Within Love, where we are in 2024 blooming light. Blooming light. As you're coming in, the title says, so what do you do? What do you do? Hashtag, I think it says hashtag narcissist, hashtag something about collective or all zodiac signs, and then hashtag mental health awareness. So what do you do? This morning, I was thinking about something. I created a short on my TikTok platform right now pertaining to our intuition and pertaining to some of the things that we've gone through where we've been surrounded by certain types of energies and these subtle energies that are not easily seen, right? In other words, on the surface, everything looks normal. On the surface, people are smiling at you, they're being polite to you, the niceties, they're being generous to you, they have jobs, homes, vehicles, they have, all these things, families, careers, businesses. And what do you do? Now, I want to add a disclaimer, okay, as a mother of a differently abled man, okay, coming from as a survivor of narcissistic abuse myself, okay, being surrounded by families of narcs myself, okay, being exposed to various different types of narcissism or narcissistic like traits and behaviors and abuse, okay, being sensitive to the fact like my son is differently abled. And so here's the thing, in his case and people like him, here's the difference is, okay, first and foremost, it's not narcissism, okay? There's no malicious energy there, okay? But you get a diagnosis, it gets brought to your awareness, okay? And you make the necessary alterations and changes. Their life is usually a little different, so they're not living quite as the air quote so-called normal society. And so there's an awareness. The problem with the lack of diagnoses for a majority or a lot of the human collective is that, okay, they don't have diagnoses. Most of them don't think anything is wrong. And on the surface, everything looks kosher. And it can become hard to deal with. I was asking myself and my ancestors, I'm like, well, we all got niggles. We all got, some kind of mental health niggles. I was even saying, I'm like, hey, I deal with anxiety and, PTSD and all these things as a result of what I've gone through. Okay, but so what's the difference here? Well, having a little anxiety or being a little bit high strung or stressed is vastly different from being harmful to others. Okay? So in all these situations in which you may not have all of the proof that you need, and sometimes these people are even in a financial position that's better than you, which this is always the great throw off with humanity, because if these people have more than you, if they have properties, homes, vehicles, jobs, careers, then it's an appearance like, well, they must be okay. They must be okay. They've managed to, function in this capacity. They must be okay. They have a job, they have a career, they must be okay. They have a vehicle and a home, they must be okay. But that's not what we're evaluating. I created a short that says when something feels off, even if you can't put your fingers on it, in 2024, we're going to trust this more and allow some kind of space and buffer and boundary between us and these people as best we can. You know what I'm saying? Because, you got to live life. You're working jobs and having businesses and things that nature. You're going to exchange and cross paths as you go about to and fro. But as best we can, okay? 2024, we're going to trust this more. As I was asking my guides and kind of thinking about all this morning, and I was thinking about certain individuals that was presenting certain things this morning, I heard they're mentally ill. And though we can't diagnose and we can't, it's not advised that we're diagnosing or going around telling people that, because again, if you're not a licensed physician and, in this 3D physicality, depending on where you are on the globe, right? We don't really have the right to do it, but nor do we really need to. It kind of hurts and it kind of sucks. But maybe that'll help us to shift our energy a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get the awareness of it. Try not to take some of the stuff too personally, even though it's personal, because I know somebody's going to be like, oh, Bloomy, it's personal. I get it. But I gave examples before, long ago, of how if we knew someone was a schizophrenic, or we went to a mental health facility and the person had like some kind of severe diagnosis and they were out, wilding out and so forth and just out of control. Well, we wouldn't expect them to behave any differently than that, because we would be aware that that's their condition. We would be aware that is their condition, and what we'll do is just make the necessary adjustments. So in other words, we wouldn't have a lot of expectation for that person. We'll probably have a strong boundary. We may not get all that close for too long, depending on the level of danger. We wouldn't try to reason with that person. You wouldn't sit and try to reason with a schizophrenic, because it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm really recommending that we try. And again, I'm not saying this is easy, and I'm not saying that I have this all figured out, and I'm not saying, hey, I get it. But that we try in 2024 just to come to the place of acceptance, knowing that when you're dealing with that kind of stuff, it's not going to be no type of conversation that's going to be had to make things any different. It's not about how much more information you present to the person, how much more proof you present to the person, how much love you give to the person. If there is some pervasive things going on under the hood that's not being addressed, because again, awareness and addressing things changes the game. But that's not being addressed, whether energetically or biologically or physiologically, you're not going to get anywhere. And I know a lot of us, since we draw certain energies, we want to make things work. Everybody deserves love. We say these things. Everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves a chance. Everybody deserves a relationship and all that. And that's actually true. However, some situations are dangerous for your health and well-being. Whether that's mental health or physical health. I mean, because if you're dealing with someone who has mental things, they also could be putting themselves at greater risk because they're not dealing. And over time, things get progressive. They don't improve unless we're doing things to improve. And I just saw 911 on the timer here. Okay? They'll put you in, you'll end up being subjected to certain things. Whether it is they have poor judgment and they allow a lot of toxicity around their lives, or they subject themselves to certain things, and then if they get close to you, then you're subject to it. You see that? So in 2024, what can we do? What do you do? You give intention to be aware. You give intention to trust with your gut, what you're feeling, the subtle energies, your intuition. You give intention to be surrendered to your own highest intelligence. and to make changes and to try to detach judgment, to try. And it's hard when, people are looking fully functional, full-blown adults, driving around in cars and jobs and, running their mouth. It's hard, versus someone that's in a wheelchair, someone who has an obvious disability, and you kind of blink. But these people, you're kind of like, they need their ass, shit, their ass whooped, right? But just like with someone disabled, someone with maybe pervasive mental illness or some things going on that they're not aware of, doing all that wouldn't make no difference either. Shit, I'm done. Hey, I'm just saying. So we're gonna do more, self-love, self-care, more buffers in our energy, accepting those niggles, those feelings, like something ain't right. We don't do shit. Fuck that. And then just make the change. That's our intention in 2024. We're gonna trust our gut more in 2024. We're not gonna circular gaslight ourselves or allow ourselves to be gaslit because of the surface appearance. They're smiling at me. They gave me some sugar. Right? They gave me some, laundry soap. They gave me, all that. They said, bless you. We're not doing that. I know. I already know where this is going to go by the time anybody ever sees this video. I know. It sucks. It sucks. Yeah, but, it may take out the sting, though. Again, if we can only just put the boundary up, put the barrier up, only get so close as necessary, and then having our heart and mind, like, just like we would see a disabled person in a mental health facility, schizophrenic, wild out, we really wouldn't have much expectation because it is what it is. You would know, like, that is what it is. You're not about to talk that out of them, nigga. You ain't finna change, none of that. It is what it is. And you wouldn't expect anything from them but the behavior that they have given. So when we see or experience these things with these people where we like, oh, nigga, we in these energies. Remind yourself, I don't care how fanciful they look. I don't care if they got husbands and wives. I don't care if they got homes and vehicles and businesses and properties. I don't care. I know what I know. I sense what I sense. And I'm just going to let it be. I'm going to let it roll. And I know this is not someone you want to get close to. Boom. Keep moving. This is not someone I can trust, that are trustworthy. Boom. Keep moving. Right? It's going to help. Like, at least this is what I'm starting to realize. Like, no, it'll help. Because you ain't gonna be doing none of that. We ain't gonna do no fake niceties or nothing. We're gonna be like, I see you and I know you, and that's all I need to know. Thank you. You're not gonna go out of your way to do anything or anything like that. You just know. It's a state of knowing. And this is gonna help us to shift our energy where we want it to be. Okay, so now with that being said, I got a little time. Well, actually, I don't got much time, so I got to get going. Actually, I got my trampoline. Let me see if I could, well, y'all seen it. I was finally able to get someone, a gentleman, to help me to, because it was folded and it was very hard, and even the instructions was like, it's gonna take at least two strong people to get it, put together. And so I've actually had this thing for about 2 weeks. So I was happy that I was able to finally get some help to get it put together. And so now I'm going to be utilizing it every day. Okay. I may even come on here and do some shorts for you all, just like I'm doing on my TikTok platform, to inspire movement. Okay. Trampoline, indoor rebounder. Okay. This is good. Good for your lymphatic system, good for exercise, least amount of impact, pressure, okay, on those joints, muscles and bones and things like that. All right, anyway, those of you who end up watching this video and you're in a good energy, I send you love and light and wish you well. Okay, but in 2024, we're gonna trust our intuition and our gut more. And if it's a challenge, we're gonna give intention to. And then we're gonna do the things to help us to reconnect and get all of that stuff back balanced out. All right, namaste.